And hello, everybody. Alexa, cue the boys are back in town because, god damn it, the boys are back in town. Brandon's with us. So is Cortland, newly minted to the podcast. And Tyler's also here for the first time, I think, in a while. We have all three of us here. Boys, how's it going?
Chilling.
Going.
That's for sure. College football 25 out, so it's been the best week of my life.
Mountains are blue for sure. College football is out. Not a lot of sports are going on right now. We did have the MLB All-Star game. We can maybe talk about if we want to. We have the Olympics coming up. But yeah, we're all here to talk about Tyler's visit to Ireland. That's why we started this podcast. Tyler, how was your trip?
It was good. The only problem was it's so hard to watch American sports over there, or really American anything. So I'm very much out of the loop. So you can talk about these things, and I'll just sit out because I don't really know what happened.
I mean, you kind of picked the best time of the year to
That's true.
get away from American sports.
That's true. Although when we go on our cruise, it's going to be the start of football season and stuff. So, but we did get unlimited Wi-Fi, so I'll be tuned in.
We'll be recording since you got unlimited Wi-Fi. Perfect. I love that.
Shit.
Yep.
Actually, I only have 150 minutes of Wi-Fi.
But Cortland actually has an important meeting to get to, and we only have Brandon for 15 minutes. I do want to talk about the big news. Why go to therapy when NCAA 25 was going to come out? And boy, did it ever come out this week. And I have spent so much time. I'm so excited. Brandon, I know you're excited. Tyler, I know you've been playing it. Boys, actually, Brandon, I want to hear from you first. What were your thoughts immediately upon starting the app?
I got a little nervous. Admittedly, when I loaded up, the first thing I did was I got playing now with Nebraska and Iowa, and then I heard jokes going into it, like, "Oh, what's the first play going to be?" I got a little bit nervous, like trying to pick out a play. But I checked before I hopped on it. I got 49 hours already logged in, so that's been cool. Don't tell my bosses about that. So working from home has been helping. But
nobody watches this anyway, so
it's been unbelievable. I've been able to do everything that I've wanted.
Dude, it's incredible. And I know that I've been having such a really good time. Tyler, you've been playing a lot of the Ultimate Team stuff. How have you been liking that?
So I was going into it like, oh, this is so awesome. Now playing it, this is the worst thing that's ever happened in my life. That game, the game fucking sucks. I hate it. I hate it so much, but I can't stop playing it. So here we are. It's the duality of man, right? You get what you've been waiting for, and now you hate yourself for wanting it, kind of thing.
I mean, I totally get that. Also, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about because
what about the game don't you like?
I think he's full of shit.
It's not the game. The game plays great. Deal with. It's the bullshit that you deal with because I've been playing online a lot.
Yeah, and that's a different world.
Yes.
A different world than what I'm used to. Because I haven't, outside of that one game that I tried to play with you and Brooke, that's the only time I even thought about going online.
Yeah, and then you lagged out right away. That was tough. That made me sad.
Because your dollar store internet?
I guess so.
Yeah. I think we won that game too, whenever you lagged out.
Brooke and I are on a winning streak. Tyler's not, unfortunately.
We won our last two games before we got off last night. So
let's go, boys. I'm really liking. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
We were probably playing like some 50-year-olds at 3:00 in the morning last night. So, or I guess this morning. So, it wasn't too good a competition.
I do actually. I am liking the 3v3 mode a lot more than I always like the 3v3 mode, but it's a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of fun playing with you and Brooke, and it's been nice to get to hang out a little bit. So I know your first mode, Brandon. When you first started it up, are you a Road to the not Road to the Show? Are you Road to Glory guy, or are you a Dynasty guy right away?
I got some lore. So I started with Yanni Vodinfeld, Russian quarterback, walked on underdog, got through 4 years of the Road to Glory. Eventually transferred to LSU. And then he went back to UNT as offensive coordinator. Eventually became the head coach of Troy. Now he's at Oklahoma. Now, I think that dynasty is in like the year 2030. And then now the team builders here, I created a team. And then I started a dynasty with that team to try to rebuild them up. Road to Glory, what was the first thing I did for dynasties, definitely. that I've grinded to the most.
Oh, and Sophia's here. Sophia, how have you been liking NCAA 25? No, the other one. How have you been liking NCAA 25?
I don't like it.
Are you kidding me? Get out. This is Sundays with NCAA 25 podcast. Get out of here. No, I definitely booted up Road to the Show. I mean, I told you I started as not an underdog. What's the 2-star prospect?
Contributor, maybe?
Yeah, something like that. But I started with a 2-star prospect and
underclassmen or some. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. And I went to Iowa, started my first year because obviously that offense is dog shit. Won
I'm
all
bored.
3 of the
Next.
games I played. Beat Nebraska in my second start. Hey, don't worry. They only held me to 230 yards passing, but they did give up 230 yards rushing, which is tough on their part. Won our bowl game, got to my sophomore year. I got fucking benched immediately because I was only 72 overall, and I just I haven't played it. I haven't been back to Road to the Show or Road to Glory since.
Yeah, I've actually been kind of scared, if you will, to start a dynasty. It's very intimidating.
Yeah, I believe that.
How Brooke, or not Brooke? God damn it, Brandon. Sorry, I'm fucking loopy today. Brandon, how do you like the recruiting? It's kind of difficult.
It is. I mean, so it's a lot more intricate than like 2014, of course. But like once you get into a flow, and once you kind of know how to operate and how you want to go about it, like my big thing is like I target guys, and I try to get them to commit right away because especially at the smaller schools, you only get so many hours. So now it's like a push to get like these 5 to 7 targets. And then as soon as they either start committing to me or locking me out, or then I just allocate those hours towards like the 3-star, 2-star guys to fill up the class. It's I mean it's a grind, but I mean once you get kind of into the flow of it. Because my big mistake early on was like whenever I would check like the recruiting classes, I would see like all these other schools have already got like 20 commits and I've gotten 5. But that's not a great way to play. Well, that's not a great way to play.
So as a smaller school, you don't get as many hours as like bigger schools?
Right. So at Troy, I got 500 hours a week. And then when I got to Oklahoma, I think it's like 750 to 800.
That's what I got with Ole Miss too, 750.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did start one last night. I'm the offensive coordinator for Kansas State because I kind of just wanted to use, what's his name, Avery Johnson.
Yeah, that's a good one to start with.
I was so confused. I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
It's not that different from the old game. It's just a lot more intricate, like Brandon was saying. And you're right. That does happen a lot where I only have 5 recruits and like Georgia has 25 already. It's like, well, am I doing it wrong? What the fuck do I do?
Yes, I don't want to put you guys on too much game because I'm going to be competing against you guys in the dynasty. But the class rankings don't matter until the end. Because also like I get probably 7 or 8 recruits who don't like ever commit, but since I'm in the lead at signing day, they sign on anyways. So then I get those onto my class, and that usually fills it up to what it needs to be.
The one thing I wasn't prepared for is to get like people like locking me out after week 1. I wasn't prepared for that because they go to like their top 8 and then eventually their top 5 or whatever. So whenever I went to the next week, I was like, why the hell are all these people locking me out already? Then I read it and I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense, I suppose. Which is actually kind of nice because in the old one, you just dump all these points into guys, and then you look in like 5 weeks and you're 7,000 points out of the lead.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of nice that you don't have to waste all this time on people. I don't really like the recruiting or the prospect board. I don't think the where you go on and select prospects to put on your board.
Yeah.
But I think that just takes getting used to and just spending time and knowing what you're looking for on those. I also don't know how significant pipelines matter. Like But that's just feeling
I think
out a
it's
little bit more.
I think it is pretty significant because, I mean, case in point, I was recruiting this 2-star linebacker or this 5-star linebacker from like New England, and for some reason, I was the only one recruiting him for like 8 weeks, and I went from like being at the bottom of his board to the top of his board, and all of a sudden, Boston College started recruiting him, and they jumped up to the top, and they actually ended up committing him within 2 weeks, and it was insane to me. So I feel like it does have a lot. Pipelines do have a lot to play with it because you do have those tiers. It's a tier system too. Like there's bronze, silver, gold, and there's like platinum. And so I think it does have a lot big thing. I think it is a big deal in the game.
Gotcha. I also, and I was talking to Davis last night, and he kind of explained it pretty well. I wasn't prepared not to see the overall of the player as you scout them. And at first I didn't like that, but then he explained it like, in Madden, when you're doing your draft prep, you don't see their overall until you draft them, but you're looking for these skills that you want. It's like, okay, that does make sense. So it's just going to be, what are you looking for? And how good are they at that kind of thing? So I think it adds a lot more parity.
Yeah.
To it.
That's actually one area where I've been slipping is I don't know what skills I'm looking for. I just want recruits to sign. So if you're fucking interested in me, I'm just going to start recruiting you, dude.
Yeah. When do you guys start having recruits sign?
Usually mid-season. Like right now, I'm with Auburn. I'm my first season with Auburn, and I think I'm week 13. I think I have about 8 recruits, and they all signed within the past between week 7 and on. I don't think I've had anybody sign before week 7, to be honest.
Yeah, it's the same here. I don't get any recruits, and that might, and I'm sure I could, like if we really started like going after some like the 2 or the 3 stars early on. But I wanted to give all those points to like the higher recruits. So those typically take longer anyways. Yeah, I don't get any recruits for the first month of the season. Which then, you look at the recruiting rankings, and Georgia's already got 15 guys signed, and all 5 stars.
Gotcha. Another question I have is, so when you find a gym, what exactly does that mean? Because in NCAA 14, it was this guy is like 7 overall plus what he was initially listed at. But obviously there's no overall. So what exactly does that mean? Do you guys know?
Yeah, the way I understood is that it basically puts them from if it's a gem, it moves them up a star, which also means that they get more traits available that they can develop, or if it's a bust, then it's a trait or a star down. So a 5-star bust is still better than a 2-star gem.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the way I look at it too. Brandon's spot on. Early. I mean, I don't even know if we're right, but that's how I look at it.
Yeah.
I just know that I'm loving this game so fucking much, and like it's a blast in the past. And I've been waiting we've been waiting 10 years for this to fucking come out, and it honestly it hits like it's everything you ever wanted it to be. It's smooth. The gameplay feels smooth. The running backs are great. The movement's great. Tackling is good. There's still some bugs, but it's still the bugs actually make the game more fun, which is funny to say. There's a lot missing, like content wise. Like I don't know why when you're looking at awards races, you can't see their stats. I don't know why, like a lot of the UI stuff isn't there that used to be in the old game. It's like, well, you knew that was a good, like you had it in there before, so you knew it was a good idea. So why didn't you add it to this game when you've been working on it for 5 fucking years? Like, you know what I mean? But I think they will update it. I think there's going to be some updates coming in. There's going to be some content updates, so I'm not really worried about any of that.
2 other questions I have about this game. One is, I guess, one question and comment. Are we, for our dynasty, are we doing Heisman? I'm assuming.
So I was going to put a poll in because I know that there's a couple of guys who are still pretty novice. So I think All-American is probably what I'll suggest, especially since there's going to be so much user to user. I think
I'll move it up.
Yeah.
After a couple
if we
of years.
need to, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say, I was playing that Kansas State dynasty. I'm playing it on Heisman, and it's just impossible to play defense on Heisman in that game.
Yeah.
So that's really frustrating. I think the defense in that game is just the worst part about it. I mean, on All American and down, it's not bad. But if you're playing on Heisman, it's the most ridiculous thing in the world.
Yeah, so
I can see that.
I think All American's going to be a good starting place because I'd almost rather do freshman than Heisman, especially because not freshman, varsity than Heisman, just because I know that there's a couple of fellas that are pretty new, and I think that's I don't want it to ever be like too hard.
Yeah.
Where like, all right, the more fellas I think we get, the better.
And plus, you're spot on. There's going to be so much head to head that it's not really going to matter. So it's going to be nice, even if you are really good at the game. It's going to be nice to kind of beat up on those those computer opponents because you're going to be in the shit with Tyler running jet sweep fucking pass all the fucking time.
Oh my god, we were playing against a guy last night that was just spamming the Wildcat, and it was like the double reverse.
Mm-hmm.
So it was the end around, and then he could flip it to the quarterback and hit the wide open guy down the field, or he could just take it around. And we could not fucking stop this play. We couldn't. It was the most frustrating thing in the world. And they just kept spamming it over and over and over again. The other thing I was going to talk about is, like you said, I've been playing the Ultimate Team mode, and I'm just not getting XP. And that is just really pissing me off. Because you play head-to-heads and you should theoretically get XP for those head-to-head games. But no, I've been level 25 for 2 days. So that's really annoying.
Maybe you're just not supposed to get XP.
Well, I don't know how else you get XP.
No, you specifically are not supposed to get XP. Like that's just it's a you thing.
Yeah, I think it's like their latest update was bug fixes. Speaking of this, Tyler Sprinkle can't get XP on. That might be a new update.
Because that's like other than spending a bunch of money, the only way that you can really upgrade your team is by leveling up. And if I can't level up, then my team is just going to stay at an 80 overall.
I think
where these guys are spending, $150 and they have every single great player in the game. And it's annoying, but you'll get that on the big jobs.
How are you guys liking the presentation?
That's good.
Like the atmosphere and everything.
Yeah. It's
the home field advantage I think is pretty cool. I've gotten to play in like a couple of like the top 10 schools throughout my dynasties, and those are cool because that sucks. Like going to like a top 5 school. Other than that, the presentation, like the broadcast and like the intros, it's all kind of the same after you play so many games. So, it is what it is. But that's the worst thing about it.
I do like the different broadcast teams, but I don't notice until I notice. You know what I mean? Like I know, like it's supposed to like, oh, this is a big game feel, so Kirk Herbstreit and they're on the call, but I don't really notice it. Like it doesn't feel like a bigger game. It feels like the same game, and the broadcasters you kind of just notice later on. Does that make any sense? Like you know what I mean? It's not really. The game doesn't feel bigger; it just feels like a different team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if I had anything to say about it, it's that. But I do like it. I kind of thought there would be a little bit more, just a little bit more variety, because a lot of the times at the end of the games, like all the players do the same thing. Like they're sitting there standing in a line, singing the fight song. Like I don't know. Like I thought.
I had the same thought there.
Yeah, so I just thought like it would be just a little bit more different, a little more specific to each type of school. But I mean, it's like you said, if that's the worst part of it, it's not that big a deal. It's just more of a something I noticed. So I'm not really that worried about it.
So did y'all play a lot of Madden over the last years?
Yeah,
I did 1 year. I put a lot of hours into that, but I haven't in the past couple years.
I think that's one thing that like makes me love this game so much more is that like I don't have anything to compare it to. I haven't played Madden since probably 2017. Obviously, I haven't played a new NCAA game since 2014. So like everything is just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Is that kind of the same thing for you guys, or like do you see like a lot of overlap?
The only overlap I see is when you have a guy in the open field and you're trying to tackle him, it's impossible. And that's how it's been with Madden for the past couple of years, at least I think.
Yeah, the difference is the movement is better. And I have played pretty much every single Madden throughout the years, and I get the sense that Madden walked so NCAA could run, and I don't think this Madden's going to be anything crazy. But I think the Madden. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you got to allocate so many resources, and I'm not gonna. Be happy about it, but I'm going to play it. But Madden this year isn't going to be anything crazy, but next year Madden's going to be really fucking good because of this game and everything that they were able to try out and get done. And that's just kind of what happens when you get 3 years to work on a sports game as opposed to 9 months. You know what I mean? You're able to like implement a lot of things. You're able to try a lot of things. You're able to like do so. Like the movement in NCAA is insane. What you're able to do with the left stick, because even in Madden, like the gameplay in Madden has gotten so much better, but everyone just shits on it because it's easy to shit on. It's a really good gameplay wise. It is a very good football simulator. People think a lot of it's like unrealistic, but also like at the same time, football's unrealistic. Have you seen the things this fun of these fucking people do, dude? It's insane. And what I like about NCAA is there's that big play factor where it's like, well, fuck, how did this happen? How did this guy just break 4 fucking tackles and run 99 yards? And then you watch it, you literally go watch a highlight. I actually saw a Nebraska highlight, whereas somebody tweeted, is this game even realistic? And, guy from Nebraska broke off a 99-yard run. And somebody just posted, quote tweeted it, posted a clip from a Nebraska player breaking like 5 tackles and doing the same fucking thing. It's like, yeah, no, it's pretty spot on. So, and that's what I like about it, because, they at the end of the day, they're amateurs. They get paid as much money as they want. They're still amateurs, and they're not all going to be great athletes. They're not all going to be good at tackling. Like it is what it is, and the mistakes happen, and that's the beauty of football. Mistakes happen, and you have to capitalize. You have to take advantage, and like that's what I'm really liking about the game. That's what I liked about Madden the past few years too.
That's a good point. So they've been really proud of the AI that they've got in the game. But I see points where it's like the dumbest shit in the world. So a couple times last night we were playing and we'd be in man, and one of the wide receivers is running a deep route, just a go route. And instead of the corner trying to follow him, he just sits in the flat and the guy just runs free. So that's fucking stupid. So I don't know if that's like, oh, I didn't know we were in man, or if it's I don't know, but it's really fucking annoying.
He was probably out partying the night before.
Mr. Unsteady.
Yeah. What I do miss is I miss the mechanic where your girlfriend got hotter the better you were. You just can't have that level of realism in video games anymore. It's crazy. That was insane. Like, you started as a freshman, your girlfriend was just some fat chick, and by the time you were a senior, it's just this fucking hot, skinny blonde. Like, what the hell? Do you remember that, Tyler? You look like you don't remember that.
I do.
Okay. I do. That was also one of the better like football soundtracks I've ever heard too. What game was that? Do you remember, Brandon?
No, I didn't even notice that until like I saw it on Twitter many moons after.
I want to say it was like 09, maybe even 08.
Yeah.
Everything happened in 08 for sure. Yeah, just a hilarious mechanic, and yeah, great soundtrack, great game. Honestly, fuck, I missed that game. Good thing we have another one to play though, and it's fucking incredible, and I'm super stoked. Are you guys starting to get excited about football season? Because I'm starting to get really excited about football season.
I have been, brother.
Yeah, if anything, this is kind of slowed that steam down, I think.
Really?
I was doing a lot of like season prep, doing like a Power 5 preview series that I do here, where I pick every game for every team week by week. And so then
what podcast is that? What podcast do you do that on?
It'll be here on the SVSM channel.
Okay. Hey, stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for that coverage.
The SEC done right before the game came out, and now the game's all I think about. Which has been kind of nice, because like you don't want to think about Christmas too early in the year, then you got all this time to wait. So now I got a couple of weeks to burn through this game. My ADHD brain will get sick of it, and then back to college football will be here.
Yeah. I mean, I guess. I mean, I definitely understand what you're saying, because it has. I literally have to like make myself go to work early just so like I can just drag myself away from it. You know what I mean? So like I've been working 10-hour shifts just so I can just get away from that game.
Yeah,
It's been working though.
think
Like
I played that game from like 9 o'clock yesterday morning to 3 a.m.
yeah.
It's bad. It's sickening.
That's gonna be me today, dude. Because like today's the first like full day. Because I took off Monday to play it, and didn't come out till 4. So I played from 4 to 5 a.m., 4 p.m. to 5 a.m. And then I've been staying up till 5 a.m. every single night. Thankfully, I work 3 to 11, so I usually get to work about 1. And I'll work. Sometimes I'll work till midnight just because I'm trying to do extra stuff, whatever, trying to do as much as I can. And so I'll get home at like 12:30, and then I'll start playing again. And I'll go to bed at 5 a.m. and just rinse and repeat the entire fucking thing all over again.
Yeah,
And so I got to get going here, but I do want to ask you this question. And I texted you about it. But as somebody who works in a newsroom, what have you gathered any intel from what it was like at the office 2 Saturdays ago?
Yeah, so you did text me about it. So yeah, so he's talking about the Donald Trump obviously attempted assassination. That was insane. I was actually on vacation at the time. One of the things about our job is like we're not like a network news, like we're not a 24-hour news channel. So a lot of our content is broadcast on local channels. So if anything were to if something like that were to happen or something like that did happen, we weren't really like called in to do anything. A lot of the local channels that we do have in our company, they just take the network feeds. So like CBS News or ABC News and every stuff like that. But I will say this week was really fucking hectic because of the RNC and obviously Donald Trump being shot fucking a week ago or shot at a week ago. I guess he was shot, but you get it. So it was just a lot of tap dancing around, trying to carry the RNC. We took Trump's speech live, and whenever they went on late, so we were planning on doing Trump's speech for the first hour. We do 2-hour show, so we were planning on doing Trump's speech for the first hour, and then doing our regular show the second hour with a lot of content from that speech being put into it. He just went through both shows, so we didn't really know what the fuck to do. But so what it ended up being is the second hour we did end up doing our show, but I was just sitting there listening to the speech, trying to grab sound bites. And within 3, if I heard something good, I would basically just put the time slots down, put the in cut, put the out cut, give it to the editor, and then let the other producer sitting next to me write the hit. And then within 10 minutes, it was on air. And that feeling you get when you see it, when you feel it, when you hear a clip and you're like, oh, wait, this is great. All right, this is the one I want to use. And then within 10 minutes, you see it fucking again on TV and you see the pop and you just fucking get that rush. I don't know. It was a rush to me. It was fucking incredible. One of my favorite moments was he ended his quote with drill bait. We're going to drill, baby, drill. And the entire fucking crowd just went insane. First off, stupid fucking thing to say. I don't think we should just drill anything, but it was just a fucking insane moment. It was an insane pop. And it just got me. It really got me that feeling. And you guys know me. I love just getting hype about shit. I love just getting fucking pumped up. I love a team thing. And that's just what it felt like scoring a touchdown. That's the best way to describe it. It felt really good.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember when I worked in the control room for the Storm Chasers, it felt pretty close to oh, it's game time when the game was going on. Did you get that same feeling?
100%, dude. 100%. I love it. I love this shit so much. That's how I know that I don't want to be dramatic, but that's how you're supposed. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and I get that way before broadcast too. Sometimes I get it, but sometimes I'll admit I get a little too excited, and I have to bring myself down. You know what I mean? You have to find that balance. But you're 100% right. You get that feeling. You're ready. It's like you're standing in Notre Dame's tunnel, and USC's on the other sideline, and you're just fucking ready to go, dude. That's the best way. That's the way I describe it. It's you're just fucking ready to go.
All right, I got to go. You let me know if you think of anyone else to join the fantasy football league.
I'm trying to get Davis to join, but he's a bitch. But we'll see.
Is Davis not already in it?
No, that dumb dick. No.
All right, let's think about it.
Right. Good to see you, brother. Have a good one. Bye, Cortland. Give your girl our love too. Okay.
See you.
No, that fucking guy's gone. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
College football is taking over our podcast like it's taking over everybody else's life, so that's good.
Yeah. Well, Brandon was on. I know. I didn't realize he put 49 hours into it, but looking at him, you could tell he looks like a guy who put 49 hours into that game already. So,
and he probably does his own spreadsheets. He's like, I don't trust this fucking game.
He does his own statistics.
He's got a
He makes
thumb drive.
everybody run a 40-yard dash.
Yeah, he exports the data and like sifts through it himself like a fucking freak.
Oh, it's so fucking funny. No, but I honestly, we could pivot very quickly. I do really want to hear about your trip. I want to hear about everything you did. You were in Ireland for what, 14 days, 11
10
days? 10 days.
Yeah.
Well, almost 11. You almost got left
Almost
there.
11.
How happy were you that you left? That you came back on Wednesday and not fucking last night, or yesterday? Not last night, but yesterday.
That would have been a disaster
With with the world shutting down because of the Microsoft thing, is what I mean.
So, friend of the program, Grant, he was flying to Atlanta yesterday, and
Shout out,
he
Grant.
got stuck in the airport for a while. Then they boarded the plane, and then he had to sit on the plane for 2 hours before they could take off. So, I just told him, I was like, hey, I feel bad for you, but that's what you get for fucking being a Braves fan, you stupid piece of shit. So,
Agreed, 100%.
I mean, the world has funny ways of getting back at people, I suppose. Yeah, the trip was great. Traveled around the whole country. Went about 700 miles in the 10 days. Saw a lot of really cool stuff. Got to experience like the divide between. I can't remember how they say, because people in South Ireland, they say to the north of Ireland because they don't recognize that as being the same country. But people in Northern Ireland say Northern Ireland. So there's a little caveat there. But, everybody's so nice. I spent most of my days just sitting in pubs and just talking to local people there, which is probably my favorite part of the trip. Just to learn about their culture and their lives and stuff like that. I met some really cool people. But obviously the views there are outstanding. Like the Cliffs of Moher was.
They're the Cliffs of Moher.
Our driver said differently, but
okay. Well, I trust your driver more than I trust me. I always heard more.
Yeah. And he threw me off. It just you look at pictures of that and you can't quite quantify like what you're looking at unless you're there. It's a very surreal experience, because you realize how absolutely tiny you are. And I think that a lot of people need that sometimes to realize that you're not what the whole world has to offer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was wonderful. Sophia's been asking me like, "Oh, are you going to go back? Are we going to do this again?" I'm like, "Well, I don't know," because even like how much I enjoyed it, I still fucking hate traveling. So we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. Go ahead.
Going to Ireland, I think, is the best place to start for your first overseas journey, because everything is so Americanized, and they do generally like Americans over there, and the travel itself is so much better because they have U.S. customs in Ireland, so you don't have to mess with that coming back.
Gotcha.
So normally you'd have to go get your bag that you checked and then go through U.S. customs.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, you do it there. So that was nice. Very streamlined, very fast. So that was cool. But before I get too much more into my story, ask me what I'm pissed off about.
What are you pissed off about today, Tyler?
Fucking stupid old people that think they're entitled to everything.
Here we go.
And I'll tell you why.
Preach.
So, Brett, I had some travel issues coming back. We were supposed to fly out Tuesday morning at 9:30 local time. The flight ended up getting pushed back to 4:30 p.m. local time, because of the storm of the century in Chicago. It sucks, but it is what it is. Talked with American Airlines all night. Talked to 3 different people. The first 2 people were like, "Yeah, sorry, your flight got pushed to Wednesday morning instead because of whatever." We talked to the third lady, and she said, "Oh, your flight got pushed because your connection flight is full, apparently." The first 2 were like, "Yeah, we can't get you on the flight. Sorry, you're SOL." the third lady, she's like, "Oh, there's like this plane is basically empty. I'll just get you guys on this flight so you guys can fly out at 4:30 local time." It's like, okay, I don't know why that was so hard. So that was really stressful. So I get to the airport and I'm sitting down waiting for the flight, and the flight attendants for our flight come over and sit down next to us. So I start chatting with this gal, and turns out she's like the lead flight attendant. And I wasn't like yelling at her or bitching at her. I was just telling her about the experience because I was asking them the same questions, like what was it like for you guys, blah blah blah. And she was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe that's what they did. I'm sorry to hear that, blah blah blah." And she's like, "Oh, I'll try to take care of you on the flight." I was like, "Cool." So we had pretty decent seats. We were in like Comfort Plus, and the seats actually turned out to be pretty nice. Lots of leg room because it was like toward the front of Comfort Plus, and it was nice.
It's always the best. Yeah.
So about 2 hours into the flight, these two old white people come walking back to sit in the seats one row behind us and to my left. I'm like, that's weird because I haven't seen them. Where the fuck were they?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anything of it. About an hour later, the flight attendant that I was talking to, she's like, "Hey, I didn't forget about you. I'm going to come chat with you in a second." So she comes back. She says, "I was going to move you guys to first class, but these two people over here, they just went and sat up there. So we had to kick them out. So I can't move you guys up there because then they throw a fit."
Yeah.
And I was just so fucking pissed about that.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the dream. Like, yeah, flying first class on like a, in the United States, like a couple hour flight, that's awesome. But flying for 8 hours in first class, international flight, that ticket's probably like $4,000 itself, maybe more. So that really pissed me off. And I almost looked at her, I was like, I wish you wouldn't have told me that because now I'm just mad.
Yeah, right. That's information I didn't need to know.
Yeah. But she hooked it up with like a nice bottle of wine and some cool snacks and stuff. So she was wonderful. It sucks because we landed a little bit late because we were just circling around Lake Michigan for a while. And I don't know why they kept rerouting us up to Canada to go to Chicago. They rerouted us south of Lake Michigan to go to Chicago. And then we eventually just went over Lake Michigan like we were supposed to. So that was weird. And then we get on the ground and a storm was coming in. So they were closing runways. So we were taxiing for, I don't know, 30, 45 minutes. So I was meaning to get her name and thank her, but everybody was like so gung-ho to get off the plane. I didn't get a chance to talk to her. So I know you're never going to see this, but American Airlines flight, I think she's based in Chicago. Thank you so much for doing your best to make a situation that was not even your fault better for somebody like me and my wife. So,
well, I'm sure she listens. I mean, she's a fan of the podcast. That's why she hooked it up.
Yeah,
that's what I thought immediately.
Yeah, for sure.
Big fan of the podcast.
That's what I'm pissed about. Who does that?
Yeah, that's actually insane behavior. Those people needed to be arrested. Like those people don't care about rules or laws or anything.
And
I bet they stood up for as soon as the plane touched ground. They started standing up. They stood up for all 45 minutes.
Well, actually, everybody did because we were so late and there were so many connecting flights.
Yeah,
that everybody basically just stood up and sprinted to the door. Thankfully, Sophie and I had like a 2.5 hour layover, so we were just chilling, waiting for everybody to get off.
Yeah. Even then, like that's always so funny to me. Like the connecting flights, they know like what's going on. Like they know that you're going to be late, so like they'll hold the door for you for at least 5 or 10 minutes. But in my experience, that's what's happened.
We were really late.
Yeah. I just always think it's funny when people just start sprinting in an airport.
Yeah, they got on the intercom and they're like, "Hey, there's storms coming in, so more likely than not, your flight's delayed. So don't freak out."
What do people start doing? Freaking out.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's if you have people doing shit like that, like just stealing whatever seat they want, then it's a lawless place. I mean, grow up, dude.
Like that's why they have those air marshals on the plane for people like that. Just pistol whip somebody.
Yeah,
it's like Wesley. You just need Wesley Snipes to fucking get in there and cause some mayhem. Well, it's good. I'm honestly really glad. I thought it was really funny your comment about Ireland, the perfect starter country for if you're going to go to Europe, because I said the same thing about Portugal when I went for it's the only European country I've ever been to is Portugal.
Yeah.
Because my thing is just it's really cheap. Yeah, a lot of people do speak English already, and it's just a really fun fucking place to go to. It's beautiful. So I think that's just a thing. I think your first European country is always the best place to start, which I think is more telling about just how much more affordable or how much more accessible Europe is than we realize here in the United States. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I was more so just talking specifically about the ease of travel.
Yeah.
Because I've heard how nightmarish U.S. customs in the United States can be. Because instead of having, X amount of people leaving Ireland to go to America, you have everybody flying from all over the world to that airport, right?
Yeah.
So it's just that is super nice to not have to deal with that whole thing. Yeah, maybe it is just your first place you go. This is the norm, I guess. But it was still nice. I think if I want to go international again, I think I would want to just do a direct flight and not have to worry about a connecting flight.
Easier said than done from Omaha.
So what I was thinking is we just get our flight out of wherever we're flying out of, and coming home, we'll land. We'll just stay a night in whatever city we fly out of, and then the next morning we'd fly home.
Okay.
I think because then it just takes all the worry, like, oh my gosh, our connecting flight is, this, that, or the other, and flying internationally is never as simple as just flying. It seems, but. Yeah, and the plane we were on, I hate flying. For all the listeners out there, I absolutely despise it. But being on a bigger plane, which I'd never been on before, makes flying a lot more enjoyable because the turbulence isn't as bad, and obviously there's more room. So,
did you raw dog it?
I had never heard of that until Sophia's cousins were talking to me about that. They also told me about the game.
Which game? The rapper?
The game. No, the game is just you try not to think about the game until somebody says, "Have you thought about the game?" And then you lose. So you lost.
Yeah, but if you're asking that question, you thought about the game.
Yeah, but we both lose. It's the dumbest thing in the world. I know.
But that's my thing. No, I know. I'm always thinking about the game, though. I'm never not thinking about the game.
Yeah. So,
like every 5 minutes, I have this like weird, like out of body experience. Like, wait, is there a game on that I should be watching right now? Like, it's happened. It's a constant battle for me.
Yeah.
It's actually, that's not funny, dude. That's fucking. This is real.
So her cousins, the oldest one is 22, and the other one he's 18. And I've never felt so old in my life because all they do is speak in memes, and it was just the most jarring thing in the world. Like one day they started talking about like pork John or pork pay or some bullshit, and I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? Or they said, if Pork John calls you, are you picking up? I'm like, who the fuck is Pork John or whatever the name is? I'm like, dude, I'm so old. Holy shit. But that was fun. Hanging out with those two lads. And we kept making fun of, so Liam is the 18-year-old, and you're obviously allowed to drink in Europe if you're 18.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just out there fucking slugging beers. And his dad kept looking over. He's like, yeah, better get it out of your system now, because when we go home, you're fucked, dude, for 3 more years. So that was funny. But yeah, it was a good time. It's a really good time.
Which is preposterous. Which is, you know what I mean? Like, dude, I'm fucking wasted right now, and I'm 18. You're telling me if I go over there, I can't get wasted? Don't you know I'm wasted now?
Yeah,
I can do it. Look. No, it's really good. I'm really happy for you. I'm happy for Sophia too. Kind of just get out there and travel. And you're right, because it is all about like, yeah, there's just more to offer in this world than what you have going on in like your life. You know what I mean? So it's just like there's bigger stuff, there's bigger things to not necessarily worry about. It's just there's no reason to worry about things because there's other great things that there's other fun things that you could be doing. There's other places you could be seeing. It's just it really puts things in perspective for you, I feel like.
Yeah. One last thing I'll say about traveling.
No, keep talking, dude.
So the first day we landed and we stayed just outside of Dublin. So the first real day that we were there, I guess, we went into Dublin, and seeing that for the first day, it was like, wow, this place is pretty cool. Then going out and traveling and seeing, because we went to a lot of small towns in Ireland, and that was awesome. But the last day we were there, we went back to Dublin, and I was like, this place fucking sucks.
Yeah. That's how I felt going back to New York for like the 5th time. It was like, what? The first 4 times you're like, oh, I can live here, and then the 5th time you're like, this fucking place stinks.
Yeah, it's just really kind of gross. I don't know. I think the other parts of Ireland are a lot more charming and a lot more enjoyable than that.
Do you remember that scene from the other? Sorry to interrupt you, but I have to ask you before I forget this question for the 3rd time. Do you remember that scene from the other guys where they're in that pub and Will Ferrell just all of a sudden just keeps interrupting his conversation to sing that really fucked up song with the other lads in the bar?
I don't remember.
Oh my god, dude! Well, how many times have you seen the other guys?
A lot, but it's been a while.
Okay, so like it's the scene after Terry goes to the ballerina studio. Will Ferrell shows up. He loves you very much, Francine. You know that scene, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the very next scene afterwards, they're in this bar, and there's these old like Irish guys just singing a song. And they're talking about the case. Then Will Ferrell gets interrupted multiple times because the guys need him to come in and sing, and he keeps talking about, I went to war. My girlfriend slept with another guy. She had chlamydia. I have chlamydia. That type of shit. You don't remember that scene at all?
Hold on, I lost audio. Give me a second.
All good. I don't think he's going to remember, but if you do, if you know, you know, and that's what I was kind of hoping happened to Tyler. He's just out there singing bar ballads, and because to me, like that's what Ireland is. If you're not just fucking singing in a pub, I'll be your wish, I'll be your truth, I'll be your fantasy. Did you sing that song with the lads?
That's English.
Everything that you need.
Oh, I will say though, the coolest part was because the what's the European soccer, the Copa Euro,
Copa America. Oh yeah, Euro Cup.
Yeah. That was on while we were there, and people there fucking hate or England. So, dude, we were in the shits, just rooting against England. That was awesome. That was amazing to witness. And then whenever they lost to Spain, that was fucking sick.
Oh, you were in Inland for that?
Yeah.
Okay. I can't remember when it was. That's funny.
That was on Sunday night, I think.
That's right. Oh yeah. So yeah, I guess getting back to talking about sports. Yeah. So Spain won the Euro Cup. Argentina won Copa America. I kind of love Big Cat's take, and I'm talking about the Part of My Take podcast. You know, Big Cat from Barstool Sports. He was like, "Yeah, we'll never be good at soccer because we don't love it enough." Seeing that scene of people crawling through vents just to try to get into fucking Hard Rock Stadium down in Miami, like, yeah, no, that's determination. I wish I was that dedicated to anything in my life.
Yeah, I don't. That's crazy. I don't think there's anything in the world that can make Americans do shit like that, sporting wise at least. So that's pretty impressive.
I don't know, dude. Like being at Citi Field, I've been to Citi Field only once. They have those escalators, you know, when you walk in through, you know, the home plate entrance. If those broke, I'd crawl through a vent for a World Series game.
All right. Bet.
Speaking of the Mets, dude. Well, I guess we're only 2 games above 500, but All-Star break just ended. We're 3 games above 500 going in. How pissed off? I'm furious. And you know how much I love Brandon Nimmo, but how furious are you that Francisco Lindor did not make the fucking All-Star game?
I mean, it's just been a constant thing since he's been in New York.
He's just so disrespected.
Yeah. I mean, I guess he has to have 30-30 going to the All-Star break to make the All-Star game. I don't know.
And he fucking damn near did, too. Like, it's the thing.
Yeah. So,
and yeah, he had one bad April, but I mean, batting average doesn't fucking matter for shit anyway. So like, why aren't we looking at all those other? He has an 800 OPS. Like he has fucking, he has 60 RBIs. He has 20 home runs. Like I don't know what we're fucking. I don't know. He is his F WAR is 4th best in the league behind Shohei Ohtani, Juan Soto, and one other player. I can't remember who it was, but he's fucking 4th, dude. It's insane that he's not getting the respect he deserves in New York, which is supposed to be like a big media market. East Coast bias. No, there is no East Coast bias. Everyone just fucking shits on him.
Yeah, I mean that's just the New York way. I feel if you're not batting 800 and hitting a home run every at bat, then you suck.
I mean, I fucking guess it's just so goddamn annoying, and I got to be honest with you. Actually, I want to ask you. I do want to ask you because this is a question I do want to ask you because I think you know my thoughts on it already. I've said it multiple times. What do you feel in trade deadline wise? What do you think we should do?
I think it's going to be a half sell, half buy kind of thing. We're going to take a chance on some guys that are really cheap. So, like our 89th best prospect for somebody that kind of sucks, but they see some potential. And I think it's going to be something like that. And I also think that they're not going to be looking to sell, but they won't say no if the offer's right. I think we're just kind of in no man's land right now.
I think, and I said this at the beginning of the season, we're 500 going into the All-Star break, and we go get a couple arms at the deadline, and we are getting Kodai Senga back sometime in the next 2 weeks too. So that's another arm, which honestly, it just takes me back to the days of Jacob deGrom, whereas like he's always hurt half the year, but you get him, he comes back out of the All-Star break. It's, oh, that's another acquisition. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the best trade you can make.
Exactly. But I kind of really think if we just go get a couple arms in the bullpen, I think we trade. I mean, after that home run derby fucking performance, I think you have no choice but to trade Pete. But you got to get somebody to replace it. You got to get a 40. You got to get a big bat to replace him eventually too.
I don't think you do. I think you just move Mark Vientos over there.
Okay, then we need a third baseman. Then we need another bat in that lineup. Like we don't we need a home run hitter in the lineup. We just need someone clutch. Like we don't need someone who hits home runs when we're down, when we're up 10-2. We need someone who hits home runs when we're down, 3-run home run when we're down 5-4. Like we need that.
I think that's Mark Vientos.
He's so good, dude. I'm so happy that he's hitting well.
Yeah, him and Francisco Alvarez have been great to watch because it's so weird seeing young players come up to the Mets system and actually do well.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since that's happened, so it's fun to watch that.
Mike Conforto.
Yeah.
At least in my eyes, I can't remember another prospect before that or after that. Jeff McNeil. I guess Pete Alonso. Yeah. I mean, those guys, but nothing like, you're right. Nothing like what's going on right now.
Yeah. And especially have two. I mean, it reminds me of, when David Wright and Jose Reyes first came up. Like those guys were fucking awesome right away.
Oh yeah.
And we just haven't.
Jose Reyes was electric, dude.
Yeah.
What a fun fucking guy to watch play baseball.
Yeah, it was great. It was also nice to just know that the left side of your infield is just locked up until they die. Like that's awesome. Which David Wright practically did die.
He did die. Jose Reyes, he went on to, who did he play for? Toronto, Miami, and then the Mets again. Colorado. Yeah, in there. I actually like that he came back and finished his career there. He had some good moments. He wasn't the same player, but he had some good moments.
He wasn't just phoning it in either. He was actually pretty decent. Which was nice.
Yeah,
because you worry about that, coming back to where you first started, and you're just not the same person, same player.
Mm-hmm.
And then you kind of ruin your reputation in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad that didn't happen.
Yeah. But I do have to ask you, how is my Brandon Nimmo eventual MVP looking now? Looking now?
It's still horrible. Not because of his play. It's because a guy like Brandon Nimmo is just never going to win the MVP.
Yeah, he hustles too much.
I think he's not a Juan Soto. He's not a Bryce Harper. He's not a Shohei.
I hear what you're saying, but I played too many seasons of MLB The Show. I played too many games of MLB The Show where he won an MVP to not fucking see the MVP potential of this man. And all jokes aside, I know you're right. You're 100% correct, but I just love that he's fucking turning it on. And honestly, the vibe of the team that he is just I just saw Brian drop off a towel on my fucking doorstep. That was weird. He's walking away now. The vibe of this team is when Steve Gelb said it during the Cubs series. I don't know if you're watching the game. Steve Gelb was the play-by-play guy for the Cubs series, and he was talking about the vibe of the team and everything. Talking about Jose Iglesias, JD Martinez. He was kind of like, this feels like the 2015 Mets, with Juan Uribe, with Kelly Johnson, like it's like with all those guys. And I thought, well, that's a little early to say it, but then now going on this winning streak and seeing, they're doing the team dinners and everything. And dude, there's one thing I'm realizing about myself. I love a team. I really do. I love being a part of a team. I love contributing to a team and just seeing guys together, just being a team and just being fucking like lock and step with each other. It's honestly really fun to see, and that's why I'm loving this iteration of the Mets currently. It could all go south, but that's what I'm loving about what I'm seeing now.
Yeah, I mean, really, we're playing with house money at the moment, because you obviously have high aspirations to start the season, then you start it like shit, so you're thinking the rest of the season is a wash. If they're able to do anything with that after that kind of start, then it's just, icing on the cake, I feel.
Absolutely.
But back to the MVP thing, one last thought on that is I think baseball is smart not to have a guy like Brandon Nimmo win the MVP because it doesn't put asses in the seats. Like, that's one thing. If you see
telling me the
Brandon
God
Nimmo
guy
win,
doesn't put asses in the seats, we have God fucking party.
but if you see a guy like Brandon Nimmo, like you don't really care about baseball, and you're like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, oh, the most boring person in the world wins MVP. That's why baseball sucks, right? Like, oh, what did he do? Oh, he hit 15 home runs and stole like 28 bases and whatever. He hit for 302, whatever. That's just, it's boring, right? They want to see the guy that hits 78 home runs and have like 38 errors and whatever. So it's a good PR move by baseball to show or highlight these guys that are incredible athletes instead of the guy like Brandon Nimmo that plays the game. I don't want to say the correct way, but I don't have another word for it. But like truly baseball should be played, and not to be on like a high horse, like, oh, baseball should be played like this and not like that. But that's the only way I could really say it.
Yeah, that was an old man take. I don't like it one bit. But I mean, you feel what you feel. You think what you think. I don't have to agree with it, and I don't. So just know that.
All right.
Brandon Nimmo is my MVP.
Again, not saying that he's playing bad. I just think it is what it is.
Do you want to talk about any other sports? Is there anything that caught your eye this week or even in the past few weeks that we've been away?
No, like I said, I wasn't able to watch any sports in Ireland other than, unless you want to talk about Celtic football or hurling.
Send it. Yeah, let me know. Let me know about hurling. What's the hurling scene like over there in Ireland?
Dude, shit's
Ireland.
Lit.
Electric Factory?
Oh, man. So actually...
Wait, are we going to become the number one hurling podcast after you finish the sentence?
I have to learn about the damn game because I still don't understand it. But yeah.
All right, answer's yes. Okay, continue.
So I know for sure Celtic football was having their championship while we were there. At least the quarterfinals and semifinals while we were there. So I got to watch the semifinal games. And no matter where you go, so the way Celtic football works is it's only in Ireland. And the way you get on the teams is by what county you lived in growing up.
Okay. I love that.
So it's not like shout
out Potawatomi County.
Yeah, so there's not counties is like the cities that you're from, pretty much. Anyways, so it's not like a draft, right? Like you don't live in Cork and you get drafted by Enniskillen.
Yeah.
You.
Ooh, say that again.
Cork.
That was nice.
What?
The second word. You were born in Cork. What you go play in Enniskillen?
Enniskillen, yeah.
Yeah, fuck yeah. All right, continue.
It's the relationship with that team for you playing for that team and also watching that team, the passion is so high, and it's really fun to watch. I still don't really understand it, but
I can't
it's
even
fun to
describe
watch.
it. Let's
So
try to look at some hurling highlights.
I'm talking about Celtic football.
Oh,
Hurling, though, I found out that you play for the love of the game. You do not get paid to play hurling, which I thought was interesting. So like
okay.
these guys are like doctors and lawyers and whatever, and they're going out there and playing on the main stage.
Well, it's like a U.S. cricket team.
Sure,
It's like
I
one
didn't know
guy's an
that they
engineer player in the world. I don't know. You know.
Yeah. So, it's just it was a really cool experience because the love for those teams are so prevalent. Like we were born in Iowa, but we're Mets and Broncos fans, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we were in Ireland and we were born in the equivalent of Iowa, we'd be Iowa fans. Anything in Iowa and everything else we'd fucking hate.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I get that. I
So,
feel that.
yeah.
Speaking of which,
Lost you.
yeah, sorry. One of my favorite things to tell people is the story of how we became Mets fans. I just think it's so funny, especially the way I tell it. It's just like, yeah, no, my dad saw orange and blue on the screen. He's like, oh, I'm gonna root for that team. Then they won the
Yeah.
World Series, and it's just been nothing but pain and misery for me ever since. So yeah, thanks, fucking
Yep.
dad. Yeah, it's
Yep.
basically the story. It's so funny every time.
But I do always start by saying it started with John Elway. So
Oh, true.
So he was a Broncos fan, and then he became a Mets fan.
So
It's
we're
a
watching
fucking video game.
Yeah, what the fuck? I didn't know they made a hurling video game. I'm watching, so it's all Highland hurling semifinals, Gaelic games hurling. This is just a video game. Yo, actually, I
No,
might
check
play
out Gaelic football.
Gaelic football. That's nice.
Or no, is it Gaelic or is it? No,
It's not
I think
Celtic.
it's Celtic football.
No,
Maybe
Celtic
it is
football.
Gaelic
Celtic
football.
FC is a team because I did search that first.
There we go.
Is it like rugby?
So they play with it looks like a volleyball, and there's a goal like soccer, and there is a field goal.
Oh, he's
post.
booted that bitch.
Yeah, so if you get it through the field goal post, then that's 1 point, and if you score right there, I think it's 3 points.
Okay.
But the way they keep score is, so you see it's like 0-2, 1-2. So the 1 would be an actual goal, and then the 2 would
he's
be
dribbling
like a
on
field
him.
goal.
Oh, he dribbled off his foot.
That's
He's still
something
dribbling off his foot.
I don't understand that move right there.
Wait, you can hit in the goal or over the bar?
Yes. So now you see he scored that goal. So now it's 2-2.
2. Okay.
Yeah. So that's how they
1-2
score it.
before.
So it's not like points.
1 dash. This game is this is a defensive fucking juggernaut. This is
No,
a
I mean
defensive battle.
11 field goals each. Like that's pretty nice.
Oh, so
Yeah,
the second number is when you hit it over the bar. The first
Correct.
number is when you hit it into the net. Okay.
Correct. And I think they just tied it.
Fuck yeah, they did.
Fuck yeah.
Greatest
Dude,
goal of all
sick.
time. That guy looks like he's fucking 90 too. I know he's not, but he's just like, I love the hair.
I don't get why you bounce it or you hit it off your foot. I don't understand that. But
my god, he did it not once but fucking twice, my boy.
I'm telling you, this shit's kind of electric.
Is he going? Oh wait, he's still in the box. He's still in the fucking net. Yo, that goalie stinks. What are you thinking, my guy?
You gotta close out.
Gotta close out. It's like, what's stopping him from hitting it over the net or over the bar right there? Is it more points to hit it into the net? I'm assuming.
Yes, yeah, more points to hit in the net.
Uh oh.
What a fucking pass! See you, bitch. And so their jerseys, their county colors.
I just love the dribbling. Like it doesn't look like you need to dribble. People just dribble it just because.
I think there is a rule, but I don't know the kick and
it's like
dribbling off your foot and then also just bouncing it. I don't.
It's like the NBA. Hey, don't travel, but you can take as many steps as you want if you're gonna dunk. As long as it looks cool, just take as many steps as you want.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this shit's electric. Oh, Donegal. Look at that. Yeah, that yellow team is Donegal. And that's Galway, and I don't know what the other.
Did you ask people about Ed Sheeran while you're over there? It's like, hey, what's Ed like? Heard he
No, I
can't piss
didn't.
with other people around.
Is he not British or he's Irish?
Yeah. He's
No, I didn't
yeah.
know.
What?
I
It's
didn't
Ed
know that.
Sheeran. What do you mean?
I don't fucking know.
It's your boy.
It's not my boy.
By the way, I like that hat. I've been meaning to say that all podcast. I like that hat.
Thank you. I got it.
Yeah.
During Trevor's wedding. Wait, I'm not done, dude.
Oh, okay. All right, now we're sprinting into the box. Fucking kick upper right corner, dude. These goalies kind of stink. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, these are highlights. I mean, most games you get maybe one a game. One.
All right, actually, he did sun him right there.
Yeah,
He did give him the little salt
top
and pepper
shelf.
shaker. Mm-hmm.
Fucking hands team.
Twisters came out yesterday.
Yeah, I heard about that.
I can't wait to go see it.
I don't know, man. I'm kind of nervous.
No, it's gonna be good. No, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good, dude. Glenn Powell. I'm becoming more and more a Glenn Powell fan. The more I read about him, the more.
Fan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
good.
What?
Good.
Oh, what a goal. I think it's gonna be really good from everything I've read about it. And honestly, watching Twister.
Oh shit.
Again?
Hold on.
Yo,
no
he
shot.
fucking didn't.
Dude.
They can all use their hands, and he fucking hit it in there. He banged that mother. Let's go. My word. In the back of the net. Actually, I did laugh the other day because one lacrosse game I was doing, I asked one of my other broadcasters, like, hey, you call it a cage or a rack? Talking about the net. And he said, I just call it a cage. More of a rack guy, is what I said. Not realizing that, like, we were watching women's volleyball or women's lacrosse, and I didn't mean to be weird. Just know that. Sure. I just didn't really understand what I was saying at the time.
See, that's the funny thing, though, is when you're weird, you don't mean to be weird. Oh, Carrie. Dublin and Carrie. Yo! So what I did learn is people fucking hate Dublin.
Okay.
They hate this team. Fucking hate it. So quick sidebar. Well, actually, let me finish my thought.
I think this whole thing is a sidebar, but
most weird people don't mean to be weird; they just are. So if that tells you anything about yourself. Secondly, so we had a driver. His name is James. Fucking one of the best humans I've ever met in my life. Just such a wonderful, genuine human being. And he's from Kerry, which is Dingle, the city of Dingle, I believe. And they were playing in the semifinals when we were watching it. And unfortunately, they lost. But it made it just so much more enjoyable to watch because we're rooting for my boy James's team.
Look at that face.
Yeah. Well, we might as well check out hurling while we're here. We don't have to watch the whole thing. Hurling? Yeah. Also, another thing I noticed while watching these games, you know how, like, when we watch sports in the U.S., it's, like, crystal clear, like 1,000 ADP. It's like 480. Like, it looks like shit, but it's kind of hard to know what's going on if you don't know what's going on.
But, well, I actually that's not a bad thing in my mind, because the more you see, the more you know. I'd rather just be ignorant. I'd rather just complain about stuff and not understand why.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, that's what I was watching while in Ireland.
That's kind of. Oh no, he did. I didn't realize they were bats. I thought they were nets, dude. What the fuck?
Oh, I can't see the video.
You can't see any of this?
No, I'm still on the Gaelic football greatest goals of all time.
Oh yeah, so am I actually. Oops, wrong button. Share screen. We're back. Yes, I didn't realize they were fucking bats, dude. These guys are fucking insane.
Yeah, it's just like a little club that they use.
That's crazy. What were we just talking about? I got really distracted by this.
I don't know. I was just talking about my boy James.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, dude. Honestly, so you guys had a driver the entire time?
Yeah,
that's cool.
Which is like so great because oh my god, because people in Ireland drive like fucking lunatics. But I think I've heard that that's just like kind of a European thing.
It's because the anger.
It's the roads are so small and they're so fucking windy.
Yeah.
It's
I've never been more thankful. Zreen and I were gonna rent a car when we went to Portugal. I'm so fucking glad we didn't because I couldn't imagine driving through that shit.
Yeah.
They're just so narrow too, dude. Like the streets are just insane.
Dude, imagine getting smacked by that fucking ball, dude. My God.
I couldn't imagine.
You just body that thing up.
Oh yeah, there's one we can wrap up here soon. We don't have to keep going, but you did talk about one cool moment, and I do want to make sure we touch on it. So one of the reasons you guys went over there, obviously, Sophia,
yeah.
your wife, their aunt and uncle, or her aunt and uncle, they went over there, and her uncle did a genealogy test and kind of found out where he was from. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so they are their last name is McGuire, and they went and traced their roots directly back to Enniskillen, Ireland, which is just on the northern border, pretty much. So from South Ireland and Northern Ireland, and they had a castle in Enniskillen called the McGuire Castle. So we went and visited that, and it's basically just a museum now. But we learned a lot about like the way that they were as kind of a tribe, if you will, I suppose, and what they were good at and what they were known for. And it was just really cool. But the coolest part was once we got back to Enniskillen after traveling around a little bit, we met with a genealogist, or they did, and I just sat in, and they were just the guy just sat there and said, "Tell me what you know." And they just started talking about like, oh, this person we know, we think they moved to America in this time, and they were about this years or this age, and they just started plugging shit in. They're like, actually, it was this, and you thought your great grandfather's name was this, but it was actually this, and it's like it was just so cool to trace their roots back. So they knew their great grandmother. They knew her name and last name. They had a decent knowledge of the age that she moved to America. And we actually found the last house that she lived in before she moved to America.
That's really fucking
So we
neat.
went and looked at it and stuff. So that was really cool.
Yeah.
So it just seeing the connection with all these people, because you're like, oh yeah, I'm a McGuire, and they're like, holy shit, like, my mom's fucking sister's husband's grandfather was this McGuire and whatever. And it's just cool because it seems like a lot of these people stick around the area. So there's a lot of knowledge to be had family wise. And I think that makes me kind of want to learn about ours a little bit. So hopefully you don't have any crimes that you need to commit to or admit to before I do that.
Yeah, I don't think so anyway, as far as I know. But I will say, so you did ask me if there was something I would ever want to do, and I don't want to give it to I don't want to give my DNA to somebody like 23andMe just out of the sake of convenience. I would give it to like a doctor, like a genealogist, like, you know what I mean? Like because to me, it's like, I mean, there's no reason this private company should have it, but if I'm giving it to a doctor just for the sake of research, I can do the legwork. I can, go to the doctor. I don't need to just send it into some fucking company and have them just sign away my, rights to everything. And it's not like my DNA. I don't know what they would use my DNA for. I don't even know what, like, it's just like, for me, it's just something that doesn't really need to be given away like that. Something like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree. And that's why I haven't done it. And that's why I'm still a little skeptical about doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But I did find out from the genealogist that we are more likely Scottish than Irish.
Me and you?
Yeah, but that doesn't. So.
Well, I know Grandma was McGowan. That was her maiden name.
Yes.
So I know they're.
So that's what I was talking about with the genealogist. I gave him that name, and he says more likely you're Scottish. But that doesn't mean that your family doesn't come from Ireland, because the Irish were giving away land to the Scottish people for helping them fight this war.
Yeah.
So we could be Scots-Irish. But again, we won't know until
dibs on Mel Gibson.
Test. But
Dibs on Mel Gibson and Braveheart.
the other reason I don't really want to do it is because I still remember all the things that Papa told us, at least the stories he told me, and granted, a lot of them sound very fictitious, but those are some of the few things that I still have from Papa. So I don't want to find out that they're fake kind of thing.
Oh no, I don't think anything like that would be fake. It's just more of Sprinkle wasn't like Sprinkle isn't our last name. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I knew that.
It was great grandma took a second husband. The first husband was a piece of shit, so it just made everybody Sprinkle. Which I love that. Sprinkle's so good, dude. Sprinkle is fucking money. It's the best. I understand what you're saying. Is like you don't want those like memories to be tarnished. You don't want to like to take away from that. But I don't. If it's something we did together, I would love to do something like that together. I think that would be a cool situation.
Yeah, kind of like Mike and his brother did.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean,
we don't do enough trips together, Tyler.
Yeah.
You ever realize that?
Yeah.
When's the last trip we took together? Was it Denver?
Probably.
Fucking bitch.
But one thing Papa did tell me is that we're loosely related to Abraham Lincoln, and I knew that was bullshit. But
that's what I tell everybody, though. It's like you see I take everyone to the Lincoln Monument. It's like you see that guy. It's my dad.
Yeah. So I don't know, just things like that. Yeah, I don't know. So I'll think about it, and I'll let you know if I decide to do it or not.
All right. Yeah, definitely keep me posted. We need to start talking. I want to do a Europe trip with you. I think we should just do one, just brothers. Eventually. It doesn't have to be anytime soon. You've been traveling a lot.
Yeah. And it's
Why'd you make
expensive,
that face?
so.
It is expensive. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, I'm hoping to get a raise soon because I've been working way too hard to not get a raise in my mind. But hey, I'm here to grind. We're grinding. Mm-hmm. Plus, sports season starts soon, so I'll be making $15 an hour calling games again.
Nice.
Good. Yeah.
There you go.
I feel like it's an hour. We're past hour 15. We should probably wrap up soon. Anything else you want to say? Anything else?
Nope.
We have the Olympics starting. I guess opening ceremonies are next week. So we'll be making sure to brush up on our Olympic stuff. I tell you that we have an interview on the 3rd.
No.
Brian Bixler is going to come on, talk to us about some fantasy football. He's been in a dynasty league for years, so he's going to give us some knowledge. I don't know what he's going to say, but he's going to talk. He's going to do that.
He definitely will.
That's why I say, like, dude, Brian reminds me of DJ so much, just because they're both so loud and they're both just talk so much.
Oh yeah, but at least
it's like DJ's chaotic evil, Brian's chaotic good. Like that's how I describe. That's how I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna be talking fantasy football August 3rd. Getting everybody prepped for. I mean, I'm getting myself. I don't give a fuck about anybody else. I'm getting myself prepped for our dynasty draft because there's going to be a lot of new stuff. Excuse me, a lot of new stuff that I've never been a part of. So I'm excited. A little changes.
Did I tell you that Seth backed out?
Yeah. We need to find it. Oh, that's right. I need to start asking people. I could probably ask Brian, but that's probably find somebody else. Who else? Do you have anybody in mind?
No. All my friends are
Michael Spate. We should ask Michael Spate. Yeah, this league will quickly become your league.
Actually, I could ask Grant, see if he wants to do it. We'll see.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening. We appreciate it. We know we went on this hiatus, but appreciate you following the socials, liking us on YouTube, Spotify, everything. We did change the name. What is it? Sun Valley Sports
Media.
Sun Valley Sports Media. SVSM.
You know what that name comes from?
What?
So there is the neighborhood that Brandon grew up in was called Sun Valley. There's like a pool down there in a park. So I guess he took it upon himself to name it after his childhood and not anybody else's. So thank you, Brandon.
Everything's always got to be about that guy. Like he had a kid and that's all we've been talking about. Like it's fucking annoying.
This was calculated. He did the slow play, oh, what should we name it, guys? Oh, nobody has any ideas? Well, I guess I do.
Yeah.
All right. Take it home.
All right, boys. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. Sprinkle Brothers Podcast. Go ahead, subscribe. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much. Have a good one. I had to find the outro now.